Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I have a gentleman that I want to bring to the stage. The reason I decided to bring him up, not only is he a top producer, not only does he have a family and he's super consistent, but he's just a good guy. Genuinely, we work with a lot of agents. We help a lot of agents make a lot of money. But this gentleman was actually brought to me as a referral. He watched all my content. We
hmm
had three 30-minute meetings. I didn't even think he was going to pull the trigger, but he is well, me and him are very similar in regards to like very type A, very like, hey, these are the things I need. But he has been a stud since he started. And one of the things that he mentioned was that he used to watch these same videos with other agents and how, we walked through these interviews and how they explained their process. So now he's in that same position.
hmm
And we just finished talking off camera about paying it forward. So none other, I want to welcome my brother Ian. Thank you so much for taking time out on this day to hop on with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Of course, of course. All right, so from the top, and can you walk us through how did you get into the life insurance space?
Yeah, it was just a family friend from about 15, 20, I would say about, yeah, 15 plus years ago. He just introduced me. He knew I had a sales background working like in random, call centers, working in collections and other sales operations. So he just encouraged me to get my life license. And everything worked out. I started off as a captive agent, just working for AIG. And then after a few years of learning the ropes and the training, listening to other top producers, I then pivoted to becoming an independent agent. So one thing just led to another.
Gotcha. Okay. And when you first started, were you doing in person or virtual?
Originally, just over the phone, working just like at 50%. Didn't know anything, just working some leads through Bank of America and other financial institutions. And I'm fortunate for that captive because that was when I got a lot of training on like underwriting and how to present the call and listening and following a script. So yeah, that was a while ago. Time flies.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is just a question I have, genuinely. When did you transition from captive to, more independent broker? When was that? What made that change, if you don't mind sharing?
Sure. I would say after a little over 2 to 3 years, I realized that, at a cap level, there's only so much growing you can do, and you can only offer, just one company. So I knew at that time I was ready to buy my own leads and become an entrepreneur and run my own business. I wanted to have more control and expand and offer all the carriers. So that's when I found some other IMOs to work with,
Mhm.
and everything just worked out extremely well.
Yeah, very exciting. I know that's a good transition for a lot of people. And coming from the captive world, I see a lot of agents coming to independent and having a ton of success because of what you said, that they're able to experience and see things from the other side when they are a little bit more restricted. Now that they have a lot of freedom and they can position clients, it gives them another level of leverage. Follow up to that is fast forward. Okay. How did you hear about Agent Lead Lab?
I heard about you guys from my mentor. His name is Rafanel. He knew that I was working a similar lead that I believe that you may have worked in the recent past. So he was doing it, I want to say around January of 2025, and he just kept on sending me snapshots. He has like a sales board, and I'll be honest, I got a little tired of all the money he was making, and he gave me opportunities, but I was doing some direct mail. And I would say after 3 to 4 months, that's when I pulled the trigger and asked for him to provide a warm introduction. And that's when you and I spoke and we did our Zoom and I watched the videos on YouTube and I am like, wow, this lead sounds familiar. I've worked something in the past, so I was really excited to try them and to, work at the telesales magic.
Yeah. And without sharing any names, you share something with me that I think is very important for agents
Yeah.
to know. A lot of agents who are coming from a mailer background. I like to call these digital mailers. Are they as good? I'll be transparent. They're not as good, but they're still really good. But can you talk a little bit about like expectations from you're talking to yourself who's running mailers and now you're going to the digital side. Can you talk a little bit about an agent's expectation when they make that transition?
Yeah, sure. So just like in today's day and world, everyone is screening their phone calls. So not everyone's going to pick up the phone, as we all know. There are some techniques. One that I always recommend is having a really good CRM, having very good technology. Trey has recommendations. Having your number scrubbed, verified, having a local caller ID, extremely important. What's the first thing that I do when I get a phone number and I don't recognize it? I probably will Google the number and see who it is. And I may not answer it at first, but if they're calling a few more times later in the day, then I'm more prone to pick up the phone. So when you're calling these digital leads, you don't want to just call them in the morning. You want to call them in the afternoon, call in the evening, and you really want to have that proper technology. Also consider setting up your lead where there's a picture of you having your business card, having your website, having a testimonial link. You really need to build credibility. You're building a storefront, so you want to have people trust you to why should they buy from this person? What makes you different? So you have to stand out and you have to learn from what other agents are doing, and Trey definitely has those resources.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Just piggyback for 1 second.
Sure.
Now that we're on the topic of touch points, right? Communicating with a client. And can you talk a little bit about the mindset of dialing? We're going to get into scripts, but first, what is your mindset when it comes? You've got leads are coming in real time. The order is filled. How are you working those leads? How do you work them through the week? Touch on that a little bit.
So yeah, for me, I have a unique situation. I don't work any leads on Saturday and Sunday because I want to be able to be available, of course. I do have a family and have things going on. So, Monday through Friday, for me, I have to be in the right mindset. So I go to the gym, every other day because I want to feel really good. I want to feel smooth on the phone, feel just confident. And for me, that's one of my techniques is just working out, releasing those endorphins. So I feel like, you're eating somewhat healthy, you're getting your protein in. For me, that really helps to balance of the work life. So I call about 20 to 30 leads a week, Monday through Friday. And I'll call each lead at least a few times a day. I may leave a voicemail, but I use Ringy, my CRM, to help with the follow-ups. It will send out a text message every couple of days. I want to say about 7 or 8 touches total. So if I'm at the gym or if I'm on another call, I have a system that is actually sending out follow-up messages. I know Go High Level, there's other ones out there, but I highly recommend to have a system like that that can send out, text strips as well as emails. But in my opinion, the texts are really work the best in today's day and age.
Yes. Touch on your initial text message for the agent that's like, Ian, I just got ringy. What do I need to put in my initial text? What does yours say?
Yeah, so mine says, hi, my name is Ian Warkol. I received your online Facebook mortgage protection inquiry. I am your local agent. I'll give you a call within 24 hours, or if you have a preferred time to connect, you can text back with the best time. I look forward to speaking with you. And then there is a family photo, or you can put a business card. I also, extremely important, there's like a link, trustmyproducer.com. You can customize it. You can put your family photo, business card. You can put your testimonial, your accolades. I've had very good, what do you call it, feedback on people saying, wow, I really like your family photo. I really like that you shared. Oh, I see you work with the military. Oh, I'm military. I'm retired Army civilian. So having those testimonials, hopefully you have those because that is your storefront. You want to market yourself that you're trustworthy. It also, when you have that link, it has access to all of your licenses. So I do recommend to work in at least 8 to 10 states. I'm not saying that you have to, but the more states you have, you're going to have a better momentum of your leads coming in versus only being licensed in 2 states. So, Trey's team can tell you which states have the best return rate. Definitely recommend to have those in line and to put them on your upload them to your link as well through Ringy, or if you're working through like a Go High Level platform.
Yes. Now you do something unique that I think is very important.
Hmm.
You are very precise with what states you want, when you order, everything. Can you walk through? I don't actually know this. What is your process for? I've seen you put in requests to like add states or remove states. How are you determining that? What is your process for that?
So I'm just one of these, analytical guys. If someone is not going to pick up my call on 3 or 4 orders or more, I'm like, you know what? Arizona's great. I'm getting people pick up in Texas. I'm getting people pick up in Florida. But for me, I'm just kind of like, if one state is not going to work consistently, I'm just going to change it up a little bit. And if I see that I'm doing well in California, since I live in California, I just feel like, hey, for me, some states work like magic and other ones, I just don't have any luck. It's nothing personal. I just like to change up the rhythms, see what's working, see if I can add other states. But I definitely like the idea of having about at least 10 states, 10 to 12. I know other agents that are working even more than that. So the better, in my opinion. And it
Mhm.
doesn't cost that much money to get licensed. If you're wondering, well, Ian, what states do you recommend? I think that Florida, Texas, California, there's a lot of good states, but those are some of the ones that I see that you're getting a higher pickup rate where you're getting a chance at bat to do your presentation.
100%. That's spot on with what we tell everybody as well. Now let's transition into you can do one of two things, whatever you feel more comfortable with. We can role play, or you could just walk agents through your process of the script. Do you go intro, build value in the why, and then go into the pitch? Do you go intro and then verify? Everybody's different, but I want people to know what is your style? How are you presenting to people?
Sure. So for me, I don't want to sound like I'm reading a script. I am a naturally a personal person. I don't want to get into the friend zone, but I like to read, I like to have a script ready, and I like to have some other notes prepared, but you don't want to sound like you're actually robotic because people can catch on to that you don't know what you're doing. So it is good to practice and role play before you just jump into the mortgage protection leads. I say that respectively because you want to know what you're doing. So for me, I just start off with I use the trace script. It's basic, it's short and sweet, but it's very effective, and I like it better than most scripts that I've seen. So, when I call someone, hi Mary, I'm getting back with you in regards to the Facebook inquiry. You indicated that you owe 350,000 on your house. A lot of the times it's not a good time. So you got to be respectful. We got to use our common sense. You're calling someone out of the blue. You can't just expect that person, they could be working. Mortgage protection people, they own homes. These are not people that are at home watching Law and Order reruns, the final expense people. These are hardworking people. So for me, I'm like, look, oh, well, I can't talk right now. Well, no, that Mary, that's why I'm calling. I have an appointment right now shortly, but I'm calling so I can get you on the calendar. We can find a time that works for both of us. I have availability later this afternoon or tomorrow. You give like two options. What works best for you? Great. And then with the CRM that I use, it will send out like an immediate primary. You're scheduled for 2 p.m. tomorrow. And then you can then customize an hour before it sends out a reminder. Super important. People will forget if you don't send out those reminders. And then from there, when I'm on the phone, I go over like what was filled out through Facebook, and I start asking like certain questions like, what made you fill out the form? Why is this important to you? And that's when you stop talking. I've noticed a trend that when they're like remotely interested, they're going to talk more than just, oh, I filled it out because they're like, I want peace of mind. I've got kids. I have a term policy, but it recently expired. They're going to open up to you. They're going to tell you why it's important. Then you start digging some more. Well, what do you have now in place that if you did pass away unexpectedly, what do you have now that would pay off your mortgage? Do you have retirement? And I also like to get to know, who are the people? If it's a wife, what's the name of your wife? And what's the name of your children? Who's living with you in your house? You really want to do your best to build a personal connection. It sounds more personal when you're saying, okay, so what you're saying is that your wife Judy is a homemaker and that you're making 100 grand a year. And if you passed away, God forbid, in 6 months, she'd have to live off of just your $200,000 retirement. Would you agree that if that's not sustainable with today's cost of living and inflation? Where would she live? Yeah, you're right. That's why I want to get something in place. So you want to ask certain questions and caring, And then, from there, what I normally do after asking those certain questions is then transition into qualifying, asking certain health questions so I can get an idea of what they can qualify for. Just to backtrack, it's also good to ask about, what is the home value of your house? So if they owe, let's say, a quarter million, well, what is the equity? What's your house actually worth? And that actually helps a lot, and especially when you're talking to like the older folks that are like they're 70 or they have a lot of health issues, because then you can offer them a plan to protect the equity in their property. You can't necessarily pay off the entire house, but you can propose a strategy that will keep them from having the bank come in and take the house away.
Ian, I'm struggling with figuring out
Yeah.
how do I close 70-year-olds and above? What do you say to an agent that comes to you and says that?
Yeah, so you're not going to get them all. Like you got to come in with realistic expectations. Please understand that. But for the people that are like they're not delusional, they understand that they're older, even if they don't have health issues. I had a lady the other day, she was really very smart and she was realistic. She owed about a quarter million, I think actually closer to 300,000. Pretty decent health. I want to say like standard non-tobacco. And I explained to her the concept that most people in your circumstance, they're not looking to pay off the house entirely because it's going to cost them a lot of money. But what they're more concerned about is not having their house being taken away from the bank. So I give them a couple of options of protecting the equity. So in this case, I offered her a policy for 100,000, and because she had like a physical in the last 12 months, there is a company that will actually consider you without a physical. It's not guaranteed, but I offered her a company called Pack Life. So she was very happy. She was very grateful. And she goes, wow, I love the concept that, I'm very comfortable paying 240 a month. But if she would have told me that she had a lot of health issues, then I would have proposed to her about protecting the equity in the house. For example, like a mutual of Omaha, something where you can offer like 50,000 and then 30,000, and then based on their mortgage payments, that can buy their family some time. So you can show them like 1 year, 18 months, and 24 months. Hopefully that makes sense. It just really, to me, I used a different strategy depending on what is their health, what's their health looking like.
No, I mean, that's super clear. And that's where agents get stuck. You get a lead that's 75 years old. You get a lead that's 73 with a $300,000 mortgage. Agents are shook before they even call the person. Hey, slow down. Get on the call, figure out why they filled it out, adjust, make sure your pitch aligns with what they were looking for, and control the conversation. Don't start the conversation. We're going to cover the whole mortgage. You're putting yourself in a bad situation from the jump.
Correct.
Just explain, you now are speaking to this person and you're framing them with the expectation that they're going to cover their mortgage. If they don't get approved, you cannot backpedal. Now their expectations are fried. Now you look salesy because it looks like you didn't, number one, do your job properly, which you didn't. Number two, you're just trying to sell them something because you told them, oh, yeah, well, we got to get you something. Well, you just sat here for the past 30 minutes and told me that I need to protect Jane, Susie, Mark, all these other people. And we can't. Now you're telling me $20,000 in 18 months. Yeah, hang up, or I'm not interested. And that's where all the objections come. So I appreciate you for sharing that. It's very important that agents understand that. One thing I didn't ask you, I'm sorry if we hopped into it. Let's talk real quick because they don't know how much money you're making. Number one, can you talk about your average annual premium with the leads that you've been writing? And I know you haven't been working with us too long, but just roughly how much you've written in business thus far.
Sure. I've been working with you guys for, I want to say, a little over a month. It's pretty new, about $20,000 in premium. I want to say my average size case is around a little over $200 a month. I would say between 200 to 240. And when you work a mortgage protection lead, in my opinion, your premiums, from my experience, they're going to be higher. And you're talking to people that owe quite a bit on their house. And From my experience, they want at least a 20-year term unless they're older. One thing I do want to mention is that a lot of the people that I do talk to, they're not over 70. So a lot of people you'll talk to, they're like in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and it's there's plenty of options that you can work with when it comes to getting them proper protection for their families.
I appreciate you for sharing that. And I appreciate you for also sharing the tidbits about what agents can expect
Yeah,
in terms of leads. Okay, now I want to transition. What is it like working with us?
the experience has been extremely well. I'm a skeptical person, been doing this for quite some time. Working with Trey's company is exceptional, precise, thorough, excellent communication, and I really like the Discord. I like to feel that I'm not alone in the industry. There's a Discord where you talk with other agents, you put down your sales, your premium, the company. It's great to share your success with other agents that are like-minded. So I'm very grateful for the platform. Trey's is a sharp guy. He works with very smart people and has excellent technology. I don't say that lightly. I'm also very grateful for the referral that put me in these hands to find these great guys.
Yeah. Well, we definitely appreciate that. For a newer agent who's getting started, they're working with us. What should their expectation? Hey, Ian, I just bought a batch of 25 leads, right? What should that agent expect? They come to you. What would you tell them when they're getting started?
If they're brand new, even before they buy a batch of leads, I do recommend to have at least the bare minimum, some type of a basic website, and to work with one of the CRMs that Trey recommends. You want to have certain tools in place before you just jump in and when you're brand new. I kind of wish people told me these things when I first started, but in today's day and age, in 2025, it's good to have these tools in place before you actually. Now, what I would do if I was brand new is I would practice on the aged leads. And now I'm spoiled. I don't work the age leads. I've been doing this for a long time, but for a new agent, work the age leads first. And I hear nothing but good things about them from a lot of agents. Work those first so you can work out the underwriting nuances, and so you can practice on your call flow, your scripting. Don't buy the top tier, practice first. That, to me, that makes more sense. And then once you talk to a few people, you have your CRM. I think Trey works like with the go high level. Then you can then try the IUL or the mortgage protection. But that's what I would recommend. And I think they're like $2 or $3 for those age leads. To me, that's a no-brainer to do if I was a brand new agent. You got to have a little patience before you could just become a superstar.
I'm an agent who was doing mortgage protection mailers. I just got started with Agent Lead Lab. What do you say to that person?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time, please?
Yeah, no, you're fine. I was working mortgage protection mailers, but I just now started working with Agent Lead Lab. What's the conversation that you have with that person?
So, yeah, you've been working mortgage protection direct mail. To me, in my opinion, this will be it'll be a smooth transition. That's what I did. I do recommend the technology. So, to make your life a lot easier. So, when you're not working, the system is working for you. But if you've been working direct mail, you're going to love these leads. I cannot say that lightly. I am a skeptical person. I really take my time before I just jump in. But if you have that background, you will do just fine with these. I do recommend once you get into a groove to scale your business. And if you're only buying 20 leads a week, you better be really good on the phone. You better know exactly what you're doing. But if you buy 40 leads a week, there's a now you have more bats, you have more opportunities, right? Because now you have 160. So I do recommend that if you really want to maximize your earnings, is to scale your business eventually. Don't just buy the minimum every week. Eventually get that up to 40 leads. Get 40 leads times four. Okay, now you're at 160 leads. But of course, I do recommend to get yourself into the minimum, doing the 20. And then once you're progressing, you got to ask yourself, well, what is that next level? How can I make 30,000 a month? Believe me, you can do it, but you're going to need more leads. Even if you're working direct mail, you're not everyone is going to answer your phone call. You need more leads to scale the amount of people, and the more leads, the more presentations that you're going to have at bat. Every top producer understands the scaling of having and XYZ amount of leads per week.
Right. You said something that I think is super valuable.
Yeah.
I want you to elaborate on it. This was before we hopped on, which was the team. So typically, when you work with like what everybody else does when you work with lead vendors, is they just give you leads. Here goes your order. You don't talk to anybody. Just really no communication. Definitely no community. And you spoke about that's what you liked, but can you talk a little bit about like your experience with not me, not the leads, just like the team, the customer service part about it for agents that are like, hey, I'm only used to just buying leads and I don't talk to anybody. A little bit about maybe what their expectations should be working with the team.
In 15 plus years, I have never had better customer service than your organization. I came in thinking it was going to be pretty good, but it exceeded my expectations. I don't say that lightly for the people that are listening. Trey is a young man who has a very special talent of knowing technology and doing everything on Facebook and other sources, but the people he hires are really good and they get back with you in a timely fashion. If anything, they're a little too good. Look, hey, Faith, it's after hours. You don't have to respond right now. I want to be, and then I'm like, you don't have to respond right now. I'm just sending this like ahead of time because I'm trying to get a head start for the next day. I'm extremely impressed with the people that I'm working with, and I'm grateful because once you work with them, you're like, wow, this is really good. Ian was actually what he said actually came true. But again, I do believe in having all your tools as again. So before you work those top tier leads, just remember to practice on the age leads and if you're brand new.
I really appreciate you for saying that. A lot of people, when I tell them that, they think, why are you telling me to do these leads? Well, I want the fresh. And I'm like, look, man, I've been in the insurance space for only 5 years, but I've been running this company for three. We've helped over 550 people to date. Right now, it's September of 2025. So that number will get to 700 probably by the end of this year once we do our recount. The one thing I notice is relationships matter. If I tell Ian to buy 25 fresh leads and then he's not good and he doesn't have a good experience, well, he goes and tells his agents and these other people, right? And then my business gets stalled and he's upset. He spent a lot of money. I'm going to be honest with you. Ian's being honest with you. If you're an agent, you're watching this, you got this far in the video, and you said, hey, I think I want to do the fresh, but you know that you cannot make 25 or 20 leads work, right? Then go get some AIDS leads. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm being honest. Go get the AIDS leads so you can get the reps. So when you do decide to get 20, you can move like Ian and work Monday through Friday and take Saturday and Sunday because you have that skill set. One last thing I just want to say or ask, I'm sorry. The floor is yours. You want to talk about anything that I
Yeah,
haven't asked, anything you want to touch on that would be important for younger you watching this or future new agents, just anything, you got the floor, man. You can kind of close this out.
sure. One thing that you'll come across if you work the mortgage protection leads, and you're going to work with people that you'll get your laydowns. Believe me, they will come. You'll get people that are healthy. Maybe they're taking a common blood pressure. You could be a new agent. You will sell those ones, and they will be there for you. You'll also get people that are overweight, they got diabetes, and you need to know to ask certain questions. For the new people listening, it's okay. Trey's team's got you. It's not that hard, but it does take just, a little practice of knowing, okay, I got a diabetic. Who am I going to go to? So for anyone that's brand new doing mortgage protection, it is good to have 3 to 5 companies. So if you got a person that has a weight issue or has diabetes or they have other pre-existing conditions, you want to know some of the underwriting. I know for me, I use the FX toolkit. That is something, it's not expensive. You can plug in whether you're working a mortgage protection lead or final expense, the software. I couldn't imagine myself not having FX toolkit, maybe $45 a month. You plug in the medications, the conditions, and the technology does it for you. We didn't have these things back in 2010 when I was selling mortgage protection. Nowadays, there is technology available And that again is called the Fex Toolkit. So having these things on your side, and you're talking to your client, you're having a conversation, then you're plugging in the medications, that is a game changer. It will tell you what's available and it will do most of the work for you when you're new and you're not very familiar with your underwriting. So I do recommend to have that in place. You can't be afraid to spend a little money to make a lot of money. Things like DocuSign. It's good to have a DocuSign account so you could do everything electronically. Every top producer that I talk to, they all use the same technology. They use DocuSign. They have maybe like an assistant that helps them with their follow-ups. You want to talk to other agents if you can and listen to the other recordings that Trey has on his YouTube channel. He interviews a lot of, great people that know what they're doing for different types of leads as well.
Ian, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for letting people know what you do, how you work. And to piggyback, just to end it all
Yeah.
off, what Ian just said is so critical. It's not you just being a sales rep. Take yourself serious, right? Get your documents in alignment. Make sure that you have a business or you have an LLC or you're a sole prop or you have a website. Don't be lazy, right? Don't be upset that people won't respond because they don't trust you, right? You send them a text message and it's just, hey, you got a mortgage protection request, Ian, versus everything he said, which you guys can go back and
Yeah.
rewrite that down. You use that with the image of your family, with trust, with all of the necessary things. Well, I don't feel like doing that. Well, you don't really want to be successful. Just being honest and be okay with being mediocre, or just don't complain. And that's my philosophy. That's as he said, all the top producers, but also that's a business mindset. That's not just a 1099 sales rep mindset. And that's what Ian is touching on and has touched on today. So I hope everybody takes heed to that. Ian, thank you for taking the time today to hop on. It really, like I said, it's Saturday, man, and you decide to hop on. It means the world to me. I really appreciate it. I know you got family time, so I want to make sure I'm respectful of it and we wrap up here. But if you all want to get in contact with Ian or have questions for Ian, just message somebody on the website. And if he's okay with it, we could potentially get you in contact. My man is busy though, so things might come up. Nonetheless, though, I hope you guys got a lot from this. He was very open and transparent. And once again, thank you, brother, for hopping on today.
My pleasure.
All right, sounds good. See you guys later.